All right, everybody. Would like to welcome y'all to a special episode of In a Way We're Right. We're not really even going to number this or anything. This is just a special episode that kind of on a topic that is everywhere and taps home with us. So this episode is strictly about Breonna Taylor and the recent updates and all the stuff we've been through. I'm D-Rank, Derek, Lando.
Um,
What's up?
yeah, man. I just want to hit home once again, man. Another one of those cases of just you don't know where the jury can miss. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know
Yeah,
how nothing can come out of it, but we'll get into it.
we're gonna get into that for sure. But real quick, just like a brief oversight of what happened. And this is something we're just now getting updates on throughout from Lou from where it happened, but we're just not getting updates from it. Something that happened back in March. The Louisville Metro Police Department um, decided to they acted on a no-knock warrant at the apartment of Breonna Taylor, where they forced entry, went in there. She was killed. And at the time, nothing actually happened. And as I was able to research and really kind of educate myself on the issue, um, they were really dragging their feet. They really drug their feet with this one.
Yeah.
We saw an incident similar to this. Well, we saw another incident where a black person was killed by the police, where it was swift. Um, Officers were fired, charges were filed, and now we have this incident where this innocent black woman at her own apartment was murdered, and nothing came from it. Nothing still has really come from it, if you want to be 100%. But yeah, so that's just a brief breakdown, man. And this really hits home for us because it could be anybody. It could legitimately be anyone. It does not matter. This could be. She didn't. You all. I'm not going to say you all because I'd like to think that our listeners are a pretty diverse crowd. But there's people out there that are still trying to justify a lot of the murders that happened by police, saying, "Oh well, if he would have listened," or "Oh well, he did do this in his past." But you have somebody. Not to say that all those have points, because there's no point to be made. It's all wrong. But we're at a point now where it's nobody. How can you? What can you say?
What can you do?
What can you say? I'm sleeping in my apartment and I'm getting shot at. How can I comply? What can I do? And this really hits home because it's a black woman that it happened to. Oftentimes we see it happen to black men, but for it to happen to a black woman, the most unprotected, I would say, demographic there is, the most unsupported, the most left out, the most marginalized crowd. It really hit home, man.
They just get disrespected for no reason at all, honestly.
And it's hard to imagine how they feel seeing something like this, because every time anything happens to the black man, the black woman is always right there behind us, and it doesn't matter, right or wrong. They always hold it down for us. We've seen it all throughout history, to where even we're oftentimes raised by black women as black men. Everybody love their mama or their grandma or whatever the case may be, and they get left out. They get the very unfair treatment. They get talked down to like they're less than. They get treated like they're less than. And this case really put it on the forefront that America is saying the black woman is less than, the black person is less than. This is a prime example of saying that. And it's been enough. It's been enough.
I It's always a rough topic. I grew up, mom, sister in the house. Um, real big family oriented person. So anytime anything happens to black women, it always hits home because it's like I don't get the disrespect. I don't get how we got to the point where they treat black people as less. Well, I'm not saying I don't know how, but they treat black people as less, but they treat black women less than black men, which is saying something like, which is saying a lot because they already treat us as nothing. So I can't even imagine how they feel.
Yeah, it's a lot, but we're just gonna go into this a little bit deeper. So recently, Breonna Taylor's family was able to receive a 12 million. Now let this sink in. Now, real quick, what I'm gonna touch on is what a settlement is, because a settlement is admitting I'm wrong. Let me go ahead and make it right financially. Financially, I did this wrong, and I'm going to give you this amount of money. And oftentimes, it's an excess amount of money because the more money you get, the more they're saying they messed up. Colin Kaepernick received a settlement from the NFL, which is pretty much them saying, "All right, yeah, no, we blackballed you." He got a pretty handsome check. So when you receive a settlement, that's the admission of guilt right there. But as we move forward, they get that settlement, which I still don't think is enough if you really think about the emotional trauma that they're going to go through forever.
There's no
But
amount.
I would like to say that they're going to do the right thing with it, and whatever they do to me is the right thing with it. But so they get the settlement, and then we get 3 days before the attorney general gives an update, we get a state of emergency where they mobilize the National Guard in Louisville. Um, so that right there raises a red flag, because
Yeah.
that means you're about to do something that a lot of people, the majority of people, are going to disagree with. When you have to literally militarize your city, you have to get them into a military state. That means something is about to happen. Okay.
They
Um,
already knew. Like
but
as soon as that happened, I kind of had a good idea where the verdict was about to go.
I saw the writing on the wall right there.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing the right thing, ideally you should almost be getting a parade ready where
Yeah.
we're finally getting justice. This is the first time in American history where the black person was done wrong, and we finally get to overcome it. Well, once again, it doesn't happen. And this side note, this also falls on, I believe it was the 65th anniversary of Emmett Till's murderers getting acquitted. So let that sink in. History often does repeat itself. But so we get a charge, and what charge do we get? We get a wanton endangerment charge. Okay,
Break it down.
wanton endangerment. So let's look at it, because I was like, I want to give y'all the facts. I don't want any. I just want to get y'all the facts. Wanton endangerment in the first degree is a person that is guilty under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life. He or she wantonly engages in conduct which creates a substantial danger of death or serious physical injury to another person. It is a Class D felony. Okay, so let's look at that now, because he received Brett Hankinson is his name. Brett Hankinson of Louisville is his name. Wanton endangerment. Now, the maximum allowable sentence for this is 5 years. The average range, but it's 1 to 5. It's a 1 to 5 year charge. Sentence.
It's sick that you could do a lot more for marijuana than you can for a charge like that, with a much higher bond too.
Much higher.
Much
Much higher.
higher bond.
So
It's backwards. It's really backwards. You fire the man for blindly firing 10 shots into a house. He had no line of sight. That's why he was fired in the first place.
Oh, and fun fact, let's run that back too, because I had to do my research again, because I was like, all right, let me see what did the police department do? They didn't fire him because they weren't allowed to at the time. So at the time, yeah, so here's that. Yeah. So at the time, they could not fire any of the officers. They all just went under administrative reassignment. Not even saying that they were like, all right, you just take time off. So pretty much, we're just going to take you out the field. We're going to put you in the office. So they all were on administrative reassignment because of the Fraternal Order of Police in Louisville. Basically, a union said you cannot fire these guys until there's files charged. Charges filed. Sorry.
Okay, so
So let that sink in.
that's even worse. That's much worse. I don't get it. I don't get what. And this is why people are trying to abolish the police because it's like, when have they ever learned? When let's really look into it. If let's say you're a teacher, Derek, you're a
Yeah.
teacher. You teach the same curriculum and your students continue to fail. Do you think the school would allow you to keep teaching?
No.
No chance, right?
No chance.
Obviously something's wrong. You're teaching the wrong things.
Yeah.
And they would do something about it. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry when this case first came across. I was like, okay, cool. So you have a man blindly. You, I mean, you have to have a line of sight.
You have to.
Have to. That's part of their code of conduct. You have to have a line of sight, which you don't have. It results in a murder. I don't know. I'm
That's
not the best at math, but it seems pretty cut and dry. Like I don't.
that was my first issue. So now we go back into this. Now let's jump back to that day. So that day you file an incident report because there was a life lost, right? So you file an incident report, and on said incident report, was there any force of entry? This is the initial incident report. Was there any forced entry? The police said no. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. So then it says, were there any drugs found at the apartment? No. Now it's going to say, was there anyone harmed? Any injuries? This is the one thing you can't hide. You can't deny that somebody's dead. So it says, it was pretty much a blank incident report. So basically they were like, name, date, time, place. That's it. And they decided to check no on the or none as for Taylor's injuries. Shot 8 times. 8 times.
Confirmed 6. A confirmed 6. From the report. I just don't want any mishaps here. A confirmed 6.
A confirmed 6.
Confirmed 6.
But none. They marked it down as no injuries. And what I just seen today, update, because now everything's coming into the light. So there were no body cams during the initial raid. But when they go back in, because a sergeant was shot by Kenneth Walker, and that's another thing that we're going to have to touch on, because they were doing a raid for Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend.
Because they were once involved.
Yeah. So the ex-boyfriend, the new boyfriend's at the house, Kenneth Walker. The ex-boyfriend is anyway. So I done got lost. Oh yeah. So Kenneth Walker shot one of the sergeants that went in on that raid. And as they go in to pull him out, all of a sudden the body cam works. So now when the police officer's like a hero putting his life on the line, getting shot at, now your body cam works. But when you execute this no-knock warrant, oh, my battery might be dead. Oh, I dropped it. I can't find it.
To a knock and announce, and you have multiple witnesses saying there's no announcement. You have Kenneth Walker, who was in the house, saying there's no announcement. So it's kind of like you didn't announce.
Yeah. It's almost like if everybody's saying something and it's going against the police are right. That's what I'm getting from this. After watching everything unfold, no matter what, because we've literally recorded our people being killed by the police, and the police somehow still end up right. So now that's what I'm understanding, and that's why so many people are saying abolish the police, because quite frankly, what are they policing? What are they doing? What are they doing that's so good? They're killing more people than the gangs. Yeah. The biggest gang in America, the Boys in Blue, the biggest gang in America, the most criminal gang in America.
It's crazy because how long have we been preaching this?
Ice Cube said it in the 90s. Way before.
That they turned that coin the biggest gang in America back in the 70s. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm crazy.
But this really has me at a loss. This had me at a loss for words. It had me at a point where you know, you start to, and I hate to say this because I'm never going to incite a riot. I would like to say, but I feel the pain, and I'm not mad at the response to this. I'm not mad that people are mad about this because I'm not mad because I saw an article. What yesterday? I saw an article and it says tempers flare as the Breonna Taylor verdict or whatever is announced. Tempers flare. There wasn't tempers flare. It was black people in pain, crying, holding each other, trying to mourn the loss, and not only the loss, but the unjust killing of an innocent black woman. And we just seen everybody walk away scot pretty much free, get a little slap on the wrist.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. And in the video, all you see is people crying, hugging, and yelling out why. That's tempers flaring. That says a lot about what the media thinks of us. A lot.
There's a whole lot. And I've been to not even to go away from the topic, but to kind of let's look at two different things too, because let's look at the two different Americas we have, okay? Because we have, let's say I'm a black athlete, I'm a professional athlete, okay, and I commit a crime, okay. They use that's the prime opportunity. Actually, I'm gonna jump right into this. Michael Vick beat the case in Virginia, so they got the feds involved for his dogfighting. And they, instead of giving him, because realistically, his crime should have only got maximum 6 months. He was given a 23-month sentence. They use that as an opportunity to throw the book at us and say, get in line. This is no longer acceptable. We don't care how much money you got. We don't care who loves you. We don't care. We don't care. You are the most electrifying man in sports entertainment right now. We don't care. We're going to throw the book at you so that the next generation knows to fall in line. So the next generation knows when you mess up, it's over. Now, let's look at the other America. A police officer, and there's been a lot of them, but a police officer, no knock warrant, murders a black woman, shoots into fired into a patio door covered by blinds, which is in direct violation of the department's line of sight policy. And instead of using this as an opportunity to say, we will know, as Americans, we will no longer let the police do whatever they want without going unchecked. We're going to take a stand and we're going to throw the book at you. That way, that way the next line of officers know, I should let me follow the rules. Let me make sure I do everything correct. Let me make sure I don't end up like this guy. But instead, we're looking at what they said, 3 cases of three whatever of wanton endangering. Are you serious? 3 charges of first-degree wanton endangerment.
And you know what's sick about the whole thing? Did you read a little bit of the email that the officer sent out before the jury announced and everything?
Yeah.
How the good guys are criminalized in the media, but the criminals are canonized. And I'm like, did you see a criminal in the house? Because to my knowledge, nobody in the house had a record.
To my knowledge, Kenneth Walker is a licensed gun owner.
That's also what I've learned from doing my research. In
Kentucky, which is a stand your ground state. So if somebody breaks into, similar to a lot of states, I'm thankful to live in a state like that as well. But gun laws are pretty lax in this region of the country. And, in a stand your ground state, if somebody breaks into my house, I have every right, as long as they're in my house, I could empty the whole clip on them.
But did he do that?
No.
He fired a shot.
He fired one shot, which is heck of an aim, because one shot, one hit. But one shot saying, hey, boom, get out. One shot results in 6 to his girlfriend, resulting in death. Resulting in 1 charge for the 3 officers that went in there.
They fired 20 back.
Let's do the math here. They say an eye for an eye in the Bible, right? An eye for an eye. So one bullet, in what world does one bullet equal 20?
How many that's basic. That's a warning shot. If I shoot at you one time, like if you come in,
hey, I'm packing.
He fired one shot. It wasn't a shootout. He fired one shot. He fires one shot. That's a warning shot. How many warning shots did they get? None.
Didn't get a warning knock. Didn't get a warning anything.
No announcement or nothing.
And we're supposed to just be okay with it.
It's sick, bro. Like
it's sick,
I really this has plagued my mind since as soon as I saw the state of emergency. My buddy told me that, and I don't know. My mind's just not been fully there ever since, man. It's hard to go on knowing that though. Like let me stop before I get going. It's sick. It's a sick thought to have that, like, if wrong gets done to me, I'm very certain that justice won't take place.
Justice won't be served. Now, it's hard. Yeah, I see what you're saying though. It's hard to live in a country, and it's hard to live in a country. And I would like to say I've had a decent upbringing, but it's hard to live in a country where no matter how good you grew up, no matter how great you got it, if your skin is darker than the next, nothing's going to come. If something happens to you, there's a 90% chance nothing is going to happen in the fate of justice and on the side of justice. And it's crazy because we see it happen all the time. We see it happen. They say, we got these people, these all lives matter people, these blue lives matter people, these people that say, well, if you do this, if you do that, well, she was associated with this. Well, he was associated with that. Well, he did this. She's an EMT going to school to be a nurse. She's a frontline worker that y'all praise. Y'all praise thank you for working on the front lines during this pandemic. Thank you, nurses. Thank you, EMTs. Thank you, doctors. Thank you, police officers. Thank you, firefighters. Thank you, military service. She checks that box. She checks that box. She checks that educated box. She checked all the good boxes. And for what?
Nothing. For her to get her life taken and not receive any justice whatsoever.
All we got from that is Breonna's law, no knock warrants. Why is it 2020 and that's just now a rule?
Like
this is just not enough, man.
Like, it's so clear cut and dry. Guilty. It was. I didn't see how they could mess this up. You paired that with we're wrong lawsuit or the settlement. I'm like, okay, that's when I had my hopes up after the settlement. After the settlement, I was like, oh, okay.
That was my first down conversion for the win, or so I thought.
And as soon as I saw that state of emergency, I was like,
here we go again. Here we go again. And, I try to keep most of my Facebook. I keep it for my sports and stuff. But I just, at this point, if you're on any other side that's not on the side of Breonna Taylor, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to associate with you. I look at you and I would like to say I don't judge you, but quite frankly, I do. Because now I know that you only like me. And I had a person on my Facebook and that pretty much was like, I used to have respect for you until you came out with this. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was me speaking on what's right and what's wrong. It was me speaking on the George Floyd incident. I used to have respect for you, but now you're actually using your voice, and I lost it. That's all I got out of that. He said, well, you're sided on the side of criminals. Nah, I'm not. I'm sided on the side of justice every time.
They love that.
So,
It's their favorite
so
thing. I don't understand how the mass murderers keep getting treated better than than anybody else. To my knowledge, a counterfeit $20 bill and mass murder don't really add up together. You know,
not really.
I don't want
You
to take.
know,
You know what? I don't want to get into the George Floyd case. I just want to keep this strictly on Breonna Taylor.
keep
Black women.
strictly on Breonna
Black
Taylor,
women. I'm so sorry.
but
I'm so sorry that America doesn't love you. I
for
am
real,
so sorry. You guys deserve the world. You guys are some of the most creative, artistic,
I would
intelligent
I would venture to say
beings
the
that
black woman is the most creative. They're the most creative group of all because, quite frankly, they set all your trends. They set all of them.
they
It
move.
starts with the black woman, and I started with a black woman
They move the needle. Like
every
if
time.
something's going to go out in entertainment world, think a black woman.
It came from a black woman. Oh,
Think
we're talking spicy talk, black women.
black. They don't
Ooh, child, black women.
like.
Seasoned food, black women.
They don't. I don't think they get it, man. They don't really get it because leave the black men here. Take away the black women. I feel like less, even more less than how America makes me feel now. The black women do so much. They get constantly disrespected. And all you guys want to do is say they're angry. I'd be pissed off too if I was them.
Imagine if people take everything from you and say you don't deserve it.
I'm pissed off now and it's me. I can't imagine it being them. I am so sorry they treat y'all this way. None of you deserve it. You don't deserve it. And it's sick that the one time, like a clear cut as day, should you all be getting justice. Clear cut as day. And they fumble the bag and they go and they do this fuckery. And it's just like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you guys aren't treated the way you all should be treated.
It's a shame for real, man. It's an absolute shame. Um, you know, I think I'm gonna close out my portion on this. Um, Change can't happen until everybody sees the problem. And the question is, how many more problems have to happen before everybody understands? Who does it have to happen to? Because obviously happening to these black and brown lives, it doesn't matter. Who does it have to happen to? Does it have to happen here? Does it happen to happen to someone you know? When is it going to stop? To the family of Breonna Taylor, for all the black women out there, I just want to reiterate this message, and it's I'm standing behind you 10 toes. I can't believe, I genuinely cannot believe what you're going through. I don't have words for it, but I'm here for you. And I'm sorry, you know, I wish there was more that we could do. I wish we could just hit the gavel and everything change to where it's just equality. But unfortunately, on the 23rd of September, it was proven again that there's two different Americas that we live in. And unfortunately, we're in the lesser part. But yeah, man, I'm just at a loss, man. Complete loss. If you're not angry, you're not paying attention. Plain and simple.
I'm good. I got my piece out. I'm sorry. I'm baffled by the whole decision. I'm baffled by how America continues to treat you all, and it just I don't know. It's real touchy for me because like a majority of people I'm close with is black women, like a good amount. So anytime injustice happens to them, I'm not gonna say it feels like it happened to me because I'm not them, but I feel for you all, and always got y'all's back, and I'll always be speaking my voice, uplifting you all as much as I can. So, like that.
But you know, I guess that's it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in once again. And one more thing, I know the narrative when everybody's tired of seeing go vote, but go vote. We vote for the attorney general. We vote for all that stuff. That's our votes.
That's
I know everybody's too focused on Trump versus Biden. No, change your city, change your municipality, change that. Only you can do your vote. That's where your vote matters. The presidential campaign comes down to the electoral college at the end of the day. Those votes, you vote for the attorney general. You vote for all that stuff, man. That is a local vote. You vote for the mayor. You vote for, I mean, it's a list of things. You vote for the city council. You know, that's your vote. You vote for the house. You vote for your state legislature. You know, you got to put the right people there that's going to keep moving the conversation until something happens. That's where your vote comes to matter. So I know you're sick of seeing all these black athletes saying go vote, go vote. It's more than just Trump versus Biden. It's more than just, you know, whoever you put on Capitol Hill. It's about what you do in your city, because that's all that you can truly. It's your city, and that's your first line of defense right there. So go out there, go vote. If you're not registered to vote, hurry up. The deadline is rapidly approaching. It's nothing. If you're a felon, don't look into it, because you can probably vote. So please, please, please vote. And that's all we got, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in this week.
thank you.